This is practical 1 for Swd324 Backend Development 1. The aim of this practical is to record it so that students can go through the records and then be able to carry out the practicals without hitches. So that's the aim of recording this practical now. Alright, so the first practical will be handling. We are actually going to build a project, and this project is titled bookshelf management. It's a bookshelf management, a personal library that is going to take care of recording books and managing the books that are so recorded. So the title of the first practical, which is practical 1, we have about 5 practicals or 6 which are built for us to conduct and then examine students, grade students in it. Alright, so the first practical is titled Project Setup PHP Fundamentals and Book Registration Form. We assume that we have already set up the PHP setup. What that is, this practical is not going to cover installations. We have done the installations already, so we assume that the installation is successfully and is working perfectly. Let me display the tools that we'll be using. Actually, we'll be using a XAMPP. XAMPP is already installed, as you can see it here. It's already installed, and we can start it by clicking the start buttons here for Apache and then MySQL. So first, let's start MySQL, because Apache communicates with MySQL, which is the database. So first start the MySQL so that it's ready for Apache to send. Once you see this turn green, it means it's on and it's working now. Then we switch Apache. Make sure it turns green also to show you that it's working. If it doesn't turn green, then there's something wrong. And mind you, you have to start Apache from the admin control panel. Yeah, I hope you know what it means. No, anyway, I'm not going to go back to that. Maybe I will do another recording for that particular. So now that our Apache is working and MySQL is working, you see the module, under module here, you see the name Apache is having a green background, and then also we see the same thing happening with MySQL. These are the tools that we'll be using. And then also make sure that our VS Code, Visual Studio Code, is also on. So first, let's go through the practical manual and see what is there. The practical title is Project Setup, PHP Fundamentals and Book Registration Form. So we'll look at the practical objectives before we start the practical. At the end of this practical, students should be able to install and configure XAMPP, which we are not going to do that anyway. Create a PHP project, build HTML forms, process form data using PHP, validate user input, and then display processed information. These are the things that are expected to be done. The software required, we have XAMPP, Visual Studio Code, and the Google Chrome, which we'll be using to test the whole thing. So we have to start by creating a project name, which is Bookshelf Manager. Since I have done that already, I'll be renaming this file by a different name because it shouldn't interfere with what is already there. So I will be renaming it as Bookshelf Manager 1. All right, so that's what we are going to do. Don't be confused about the name. So we are going to create a file project folder first of all. By the setup we have here, we are going to follow the steps one after the other. We are going to open File Explorer. All right, so let me get to the File Explorer. I will get to the File Explorer so that we can go together. When you press Windows key plus E, or just click on the File Explorer from the taskbar if it has been pinned to the taskbar. Here is the Windows Explorer. Okay, I hope you can see the Windows Explorer now. Now, in the Windows Explorer, now go to this PC. Look at this option, this PC on my computer. Or you locate my computer icon if your computer is different. Then locate the disk C, this place that we store the XAMPP. Double click on it and then you open all the 5 folders there. You see XAMPP folder is here. Double click on the XAMPP file folder. It's going to open, and right inside you see htdocs. Double click on the htdocs to open it, or just click on it and or right click and select open. All the list of folders of different projects have been displayed here. So we are going to create a project, give it a new name. Just locate this new icon on top here. Click on new, select folder, and then type the name of the folder. So I told you we're going to use bookshelf. Let me use small letters, bookshelf underscore manager. You just write bookshelf underscore manager 1, then press enter from the keyboard. Once you press the keyboard, you'll see the file is created there already. The folder is created there, bookshelf manager 1. So this is the folder we are going to use. From what we have here from the practical manual, let me see if we can. From the practical manual, we'll just go through a few steps there so that we can see them together, and then I'll go back and carry out the steps. Okay, so we are going to follow these steps. Open the file explorer, we've done that. Locate XAMPP, we have done that. XAMPP is found under C, location C, drive C. Okay, so that has been done already. Then locate htdocs, that has been done. We went on to create a file name, which is this one. Remember, I rename it because that file has already existed. Then we're going to open Visual Studio Code and then click File, open the folder. All right, we're going to launch this folder we have created onto that VS Code, and then inside the folder we can create files. These are the files. Step 8 say inside the project folder, create the following files: index.php, registerbook.php, processbook.php. These files, we are going to create them. So let me take you back to VS Code so that you can see what's happening there. We can do that there. Okay. To the VS Code now, what we do is basically we are going to open the folder. So you just click on File, locate Open Folder, not Open File. Just under Open File, click Open Folder. When you click Open Folder, it's going to take you to, you can locate it under this PC rather. If it has, because I used it yesterday, you see this one is opening there directly. But in case you have not, you have just starting, you just click on this computer or this PC or what you may have on your computer, depending on what you have on your computer. Just locate my computer icon from your from the Explorer, File Explorer. Then locate the drive C where everything is being installed, where your programs, application programs are installed. Now, exam is always created outside the program files. So you just double click on this to open it, or just click on and click select. All right. So here you see HTTP htdocs. Locate htdocs and then click select folder. It's going to open. All right. So what we'll do is simply go to files. You double click everything, please. Open this one. Double click HTTP When you double click it, you see Bookship Manager 1. This is the one we're talking about. Select it and then click open it. Now you see it has been displayed on the screen now. Bookship Manager 1. This is the one that we are going to use to create the files inside. Every other thing is removed. So sometimes when you open it, VS Code is going to prompt you with a warning sign to just verify whether you trust the file folder that you are opening. So the next thing that we need to do is to create the files that we wanted to create. When you click here, click on it again. When you click on it, you just click here, this plus new file, then type the file name. We wanted to create index.php. Now, don't make mistake and type a different thing. It's index.php. Cannot validate since PHP installation could not be found. Just remove this one. There's no problem to that. Then we are also going to create another file, which is another file that we need to create is book register.php. Book underscore register.php. Just click another plus here. Just click outside this index. Click just under it. Don't click on it directly. Click under it in this white space here, and then click this plus sign and type the name register underscore book.php. Press enter from the keyboard, and we are going to create another one. Click under it and then click this plus sign and type the file name process underscore book.php. Press enter. These are the three files that we'll be creating. I think we still have to create a folder. A folder, you click here or click outside here and then don't click on this new file again. Click on new folder here, this plus sign that has this small plus sign after the first one. So when you click on this one, you type the folder. We are going to create the folder assets. Press enter. Folders do not have file extension because they are not, or folder extension because they are not they are not files. So you can right click just this folder and then click new file, or you can do the same procedure we follow. And when you click on here, just click this one and then you create a new file inside that folder. Make sure you click the folder before you type the folder name. So inside this folder, we're going to create a file known as style.css, and press enter from the keyboard. So you notice that all the files that you create are being displayed here. and the files are empty already. Forget the fact that a you saw some codes here. These codes, they are just there for default. We are not going to make use of these codes. We are going to create our own fresh codes. Now, let's follow what the practical manual is telling us to do. From the manual, what we have is the next thing is you create another folder. Okay, asset has been created already. Style file has been created inside already. So you have this picture, book shape manager, this. So all those files are there. And then the asset folder under this, and you see it. In your own view, you will see asset on top because the the this tool or the VS Code, that's what I'm referring to. It normally displays files according to, I mean, alphabetic order. So that's why assets start with letter A, so it has to be on top. That's it. All right, so let's look at the home page. We are going to design the home page now. We are going to open the index.php and then type codes that are going to display this. Project title, name of student, matric number, and then course code, then a hyperlink labeled register new book, so that one can click on the hyperlink and it take the person to register underscore book.php, the file that we have created there. So the hyperlink, actually this is the hyperlink, and then it's going to take this name. From the viewer's eye, you will see, or the users, they will see register new book that will be displayed. So the next thing we're going to do is to insert codes. Now, because of time factor, I already designed the codes that are needed for this, so that we can actually use them and input. So I will be quickly copying the codes and pasting in there so that we can have the, the right design that we want to get. Then I'll go over the codes and explain the certain things that we have achieved as expected, and then edit where necessary. All right, so let's go back to the Visual Studio Code. We are asked to open the file, sorry, the file index. So in here, we just have our codes written here. These are the codes. So from top, we started by declaring the file strict type. We declare file strict type here so that PHP, the browsers should know that this is a PHP file. That's why we started with PHP there, and we declare it type strict. All right, so all that you see here, they are just all the comments about this project. Book shape manager, the course code is there, the file name is there, which is index, and then we have the purpose, which is the home page. All right, so right under this, we have the HTML tags starting here, the doc type, then the HTML, and then inside the head, we have some links here that we may need later. We have title. The title is created a book shape manager. Then we have this particular line, which is line 25, captured a link, a hyperlink, sorry, a link to our CSS file, which we will need later, though we have not entered codes into it yet. So just press Control S on the keyboard to save it. so that this file can be viewed. But just before we view it, let's just move down again to see the body. Inside the body, we declare a container here to handle um, all the information. So on top of the container, we use heading H1 to display Bookshelf Manager on top there. Then under it, we use H2 to display Personal Library. You know what? Those of you that are doing front end development, you will know all the meaning of this one. We are concerned with the back end, but back end can go hand in hand with front end because the back end always does its functions from the back, like the name implies, does its functions behind the scene. We don't see what happens there except programmers. So for us to see the effect, we have to employ the functionality of the front end. That's why we have it. So we have a horizontal rule here that is going to divide the top from the middle, and then another horizontal rule here is going to divide in the middle from the, the bottom. So that is what we have just done. So we have this put under this the course code name. So let's just edit these lines for any name now. Let's have it Samic Dev Technologies. You can use your name as a student, enter your name when you are developing this, and then your matric number. Let's assume we have this matric number HPP slash let's assume that's the matric number we have. And then so the link, the hyperlink that has been we need to create is down here, and this is the link to the file. This file here, register on underscore book.php. This file can be accessed from here. Going forward, we'll be looking at how we can develop the register underscore book.php. Alright, so let's save this and then move to register underscore book.php, where we can have our codes there. Mainly this file is going to prepare a form for us to capture what the book. It's going to prepare a form for us to capture the book. So let's have the codes here. Just like the other file, we declare this a strict type there, and then we look at the HTML aspect of this from here. You just see register book here as the title, and then inside the body we have the container here, and we have the title there on top there, which is the heading, which is book registration form. Now here is where we created a form. This is where we need to look at it very well. Now this form has an action which is process book.php. This tells you that this form, when submitted, is going to call another page. It's going to call another page or another file, which is known as book process. This file here that we created, that's why we created all these 3 files or 4 of them at the same time, because we need all of them. So this is going to call this when the post button is clicked. Once the method, the post button is clicked, the action will be triggered from here. That is actually what happens from the back end. Once you click a button, any button the users click on the website, they have underlying codes. They have a processing code under them. So this is what we are going to do. When you come here, we have the labels here, title of the book or book title. Then there is a placeholder prompting the user to enter the title of the book. There's the same thing. We have this label for author. We have the label for ISBN. We have the label for category. We have labels for category. Okay, category can be selected based on this screen. So this is what we have down here, the button. This button now is showing what register what, and it since it's placed is inside this form. The closing part of the form is here. So once this button is clicked, this submit um, picks this action, which is what I said already. It's going to pick this action post. It's a post action which triggers the backend action that we call a page, which is our file known as processbook.php. So actually, that's what is going to happen. Then you will still have another link here that's going to take us back to the home. So that's just how this is designed. And what we need to do is just save and then move forward to design the processbook.php. All right, so the process book normally is the actual PHP code. It's the actual PHP code that is going to carry out the action, that's going to carry out the action of recording the books, the book details that has been selected or that has been entered by the user. So we have it. Let me paste this code now first. It is yet to finish, but let's just glance through this before I paste the remaining part of it. This is also declares type strict or strict type, and after these comments we have check whether the book was submitted. So this code here is going to check whether the user entered information and then clicked from the previous file. Actually, the user entered all this information and then clicked the button. What this code is doing here is that if the user do not click the submit button to access this file, then it's going to restrict the user from accessing this file. That is why you see this access denied. Please submit the form correctly. If you decide to use just the endpoint of this file and access it directly from a browser, it's going to show you this message. It's going to show you this message. Maybe after when we are testing, I'll test that too so that we'll look at what's happening. That's what this guy here is doing. If server request method is not post, if the method is not post, that means if you try to access it the other way around and not through the submit button, because when you click the submit button that is inside that form, the form action was post, so it will open it correctly. So that's what the first action is saying. I mean, the first part of the code is saying. Then under it, we have received submitted data. This data has to be submitted. Title, author, ISBN, category, and year. All this has been captured there using the name. When you see the name, let me go back there so that we see. For example, look at this input year published. You see name here is written is given as year. So for each of these data that is going to be captured, you see a name given to it. Categories here. So these names you now pick and make use of them as PHP what we call variables to store the value, and this using trim to securely accept just the values that are entered on the on the screen by the user. So we now create an array of errors so that we can store any error. We can store any error that may happen um, during running the system or the use of the system. Now, this is used to check validation of the book. We validate whether the title of the page, title of the book is entered or not. That is why you say if empty title is this, that is if the title of the book, the feed that is collecting the title of the book is empty, then it should show this error message. Book title is required. And that is going to happen for all the other feeds that will be entered. So all this has to be validated. So from there, the error message is going to, or the array, the array there is going to collect all the sort of errors um, that will be generated in the process. Okay, so the concluding part of the course, one thing that is good for PHP is that it can actually flow very well with HTML. PHP can be embedded within HTML and it work actually very well. So from line 105, let's have something else from 105 down to the end. From line 105, this is where we were. All right, so we start our HTML component. We use the HTML here to display all the errors that we may come across, and also the success message that we may come across. So this file is going to handle both what is happening from the back end section, and then also caption it at the front end so that users can also see what is happening there. So perhaps subsequently we in our development, this is the kind of development techniques that we'll be using. The development technique that will capture the back-end development aspect, or the back-end logic on top of the file. So this kind of development is called self-sustained. All right, so let's move on. The title is there already. Then the CSS file is also captured there. It's linked there securely. And then we have inside the body, we have the div, and that's the container that is going to open down. Then we have some comments here. Display validation errors. So the first thing that is going to be displayed is the error. If there is any error, it should be reported at this section. That is why we use the PHP codes here again. Just after the HTML inside the body of the HTML file, we use PHP here so that we can display the error messages. So it's shown that if the errors are empty, if they are not empty, this is what we say. If errors are not empty, it should echo. We use echo to display. Echo is a PHP statement that displays information on the screen. So it's going to print this on the screen, registration feed, and then it's going to print a line. Under it is still going to print, please correct the following errors, and then it's going to display errors line after line. That's why we're using this UL. Those of you that are good in front-end development, you should know what this UL is used for displaying a list or ordered list. So for each of the errors that are there, it's going to display the type of error that is there. That's why you have this. Errors were created there as an array that is going to contain as many errors as possible that we needed. So that's why that is there like that. So it's going to display it under this. Okay, so after that, we're going to click the register button here. We have a button here, so that is going to take us back to register book.php. When there are errors, we can actually click here to go back to fill the or correct the errors from the register book.php file. So that is what is happening. Except if there are no errors, that's how we use S. If there are no errors, then what should happen is it should display this book registered successfully. Then the information that was submitted will not be displayed. Book title is going to take the title as entered. Author is going to pick it from there. ISBN, category, year published. All this information as entered on the screen will be picked and then displayed on the screen for users to see what is there. So at this point, let's save it and let's see how we can view this so that we can see. We have not created CSS yet, and it's good to view this at this point so that we can see whether this is working irrespective of the style or the CSS or not. But we need CSS so that we can develop a good project. This is a project that we're doing, so we will not only be working with the back end. Back end depends on the front end, like I said before. I'll actually be using a browser. What I'm going to do is I'll make use of this browser, this Mozilla Firefox browser, so that we can view what is there. All right, just few seconds. So this is our browser, and let's just type the HTTP full column, then / and then we write localhost, localhost, localhost. Wait. After typing localhost / then we have the file name or the folder name that we typed, bookshelf underscore manager 1. So don't you don't need to call any page since we have index page there. Just press enter from the keyboard. So the local server is going to display the information for us quickly. All right, this is what is displayed there. The bookshelf manager is on top there. Personal library management, that was, we use our H2 to display this one. And then these are the horizontal lines I mentioned, this one and this one. Then you see backend development 1, all this information, Summit Technologies, all these ones are displayed. So the link is here. Let's click on this link. Already the link has been linked properly under register book. So I'm coming. All right, so that is that. So let's click this link and see what's happening. When you click it, this is how it's going to display. You see where we need the CSS. This thing is just displayed on a straight line like this, and then we have the button. But let's just click on the submit button, the register book, to see the action. Okay, we have seen failed. Registration is failed. Please correct the following errors. Enter all those. Because we didn't enter any information, we just clicked. So it means it's working. Now supposing we enter any information and this plus, you see any information is there. We select a category. Let's say this is what we want to register and the year. 2006. Press register. You see the message will be different now. Okay, these are the information we entered. Book register successfully. That's what will be displayed, and then everything is okay. So you can just click here to go back to the home page. But we have not finished what the intention of the whole thing, because we are left with one file to be created. We have to um, feed the file with the necessary codes that we need to put there. So we'll be heading back to VS Code so that we can create the complete file there. So under here we just locate the style sheet so that we don't have any codes there yet. So we need to enter codes there. So when we go to style sheet, we bring in the codes that are needed to work with the style that we need. And that will style the display of our pages. So permit me also to copy the style. The style has been designed already and is we need to just copy and paste here quickly and then run over it. This one will not explain the styling. Doesn't concern us because this is back-end development and it's not front end. Those doing front end will teach you how to design the styling. So the styling is going to take care of all the figures that they just save it, and then we just go back to what the Firefox and then refresh. How do you refresh this? You can easily click this refresh button. We just press Control plus Shift key and then press R. When you do that from the keyboard, you see it is changed back to a new thing now. You see the design now. Bookshelf manager is looking neatly now because of the CSS. This has been placed in a container and the container has been beautifully decorated. So you see register book is also styled so that when you point at it, you see what is happening. That's not even part of our concern. It's the same thing that we saw, but look at this, what the CSS is doing. That's why those who are studying front end, they are the ones that have all the beauty. The year is let's say 1990. Let's assume that is it, and then click register. Then you see the response. Book registered successfully, and you see all the information that we entered are captured here and displayed. You can register another book. So now we want to make a mistake. Let's say web development, web development. Back end. Okay, I'll deliberately omit the category and then let's click register book. Okay, registration is failed because we need to choose category. Okay, so you can go back and do the needful, or let's just click the back button and then choose the category web development, and then maybe now decide to omit. Let's omit this. Let's call this one out, and then also omit this one so that when we click register, Let's see what happened. Author is removed, ISBN is also removed. So all the errors, all the validation that are feeds, if all of them are not there, that's all it's going to display all of them that you didn't enter them correctly until you correct them. Until you correct them. So let's have them here and then click register again. All right, see that it's working. So all that you see working from behind that is causing all these things to happen from the front end. I mean, that's display on the front end is the work of the back end development. That's the work of the back end development. Actually happens, I mean, carry out the actions behind the scenes so that users don't even know what is happening. So that's the work of the back end development. I hope you can find this interesting and you can still work on it, and then as a student continue to move from one practical to the other. Follow us as we take you to the next practical that is still going to work on this back end, I mean on this same project, which is Bookshelf Manager. We will still be improving on this project until we get the desired result. As for now, the records that we enter here when we create a book, they are not sent anywhere. They are not stored anywhere. There is no database that is capturing this, that is storing this. But we hope that as we move on with the development of this project, we can create a back-end database before the end of this project. We shall have a back-end design for this. I mean the database design for this, so that the form that we are using to capture data here can be sent to the database and be stored there. So if you move together with us, by the end of this project, you should be able to do something on your own. So be free to ask questions wherever you don't understand. Use the comment section to send your questions. And also don't forget to share, like this video, share the video to friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, which is Samic Digital Lectures. Don't forget to do this. Thank you very much and God bless you.